Hi, folks. Welcome to Curtis Goes Corner. Are you tired of all the progressives and leftists constantly whining, arguing, and protesting? Are you sick of their bull? Do you wish they would just shut up? Shut up! Do you want unfiltered commentary? Well, you've come to the right place. Curtis Goes Corner. Progressives, this is your trigger warning. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Curtis Goes Corner. Took a few days off. I hope you had a nice holiday. It was nice and relaxing. Didn't do much, but took some break from my business and doing my podcast, and it was pretty relaxing. So here we are. I'm back in the grind again. Deadline passes. Trump does not sign COVID-19 relief bill. Oh, what a monster. What an idiot. He's just a brat. It's sour grapes. It's ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Trump continued to resist, arguing that Congress needed to increase the size of the relief checks from 600 to 2,000. Technically correct, factually correct, but a lie nonetheless. What he said was, why should we give billions of dollars to foreign entities instead of our own people first? These large organizations that get it. If I'm not mistaken, they had $10 million in it to Pakistan to study gender issues. Give me a break. And it's loaded with things like that. Huge corporations and nonprofits that have hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars stashed in their bank accounts getting money. They left that part out. Two key federal unemployment programs expired early Sunday as President Donald Trump refused to sign a $900 billion aid package. The president continued to resist signing the measure, urging Congress needed to increase the size of relief checks from 600 to 2,000. The expanded unemployment benefits in the relief package affected more than 12 million Americans, the New York Times reported. Big deal. New York Times. They told me that today was Sunday, the day I'm recording this. I wouldn't believe them. Trump also criticized the $1.4 trillion government funding bill that was attached to the COVID relief legislation, the Wall Street Journal reported. The president called it reckless spending during a time when federal resources should be focused on the nation's economy recovery. Early Sunday, Trump retweeted a video that showed him complaining about the COVID-19 relief bill. I mean, they just won't get off him. They just won't get off him. Now, I wasn't president of the United States. I was just a small-time city councilman in upstate New York from 2000 to 2007. So when I say this next, I'm not comparing myself to a president, which is responsibilities and just the work is overwhelming compared to a small-time, medium-sized town council member. But I think the lessons are the same. One of the main lessons, I've learned quite a few lessons when I was council member, but the one lesson I learned pretty quick, but didn't really sink in until after I was off the city council, I was term limited out, was the fact that being right isn't enough. Being right isn't enough. Trump's right in the fact that it's filled with pork. It's filled with crap. It's devaluing our money. It's stealing people's wealth. If you had, I have a small business. We'll say it's worth $200,000. It's not, but we'll say that it is. Well, in about 6 months to a year, that's going to be worth $75,000, $80,000, maybe $100,000. You didn't take $100,000 out of the person's wallet, but you devalued what they had. And that's what's happening with all this money being printed. The inflation, it's going to eat away, and all these lockdowns, not all, but the vast, vast majority are done by Democrat governors and mayors. Republicans aren't perfect, far from it. But the vast majority of the draconian lockdowns are done by Democrats. Open up the economy. Yes, some people are going to get sick. Yes, some people are going to die. It's sad and it's tragic. I had a cousin recently. He was in his 80s. that finally went after 3 or 4 cancer bouts to COVID. It sucks. It's terrible. But it has to be done. It has to be done. We can't continue this. I can't think of the Democrats' strategy on this. I really can't, besides just a power grab. Or they are so twisted that they're afraid that if I open things up and people die, the media will blame me and blah, 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 blah. They're giving everybody else and themselves in each state's treasuries a hole bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm beginning to wonder if their strategy is this. I don't care whose lives it destroys. I don't care whose businesses it destroys. I don't care. What I care about the fact is when Joe Biden's sworn in as president, we're going to get relief to wipe out all our debt because we've mismanaged our state so badly. We had a ton of debt prior to COVID, and this way we get rid of it and say, hey, it's all the Republicans' fault. Look how great I am. I'm your Republican governor or mayor. And people don't want to hear this. Block your ears. It's bullshit. Pure and simple. It's evil. It's twisted. So President Trump is learning a lesson. I hope he does, that being right isn't enough. He's right about the pork in it. He was right about the draconian lockdowns. He was right about all of it because it came from him. I called Donald Trump the wife in the dress story. Say you're a guy sitting in the living room watching TV, reading the paper, looking online, whatever you're doing, and your wife or your girlfriend walks in, stands in the doorway and says, hey, what do you think of this dress? Does this make me look fat? Well, you're in a spot. We'll say that it does make her look fat. Do you say that? You got to live with a woman, plus you love her on top of that. You don't want the grief. You don't want the hassle. So you say, well, I don't like the way it's cut or the length or the color, and you figure something out to make it look like it doesn't look good on her. Not because she looks fat in it, it's because it just doesn't look good on her. Now, Donald Trump would say, hell yeah, that damn thing makes you look fat. Take it off. Now, here's the weird part. He's telling the truth, and you're lying. But sometimes the blunt truth isn't the right answer. And that's his personality. And you have to go around that. You have to go around the fact that his personality always seems to get in the way. I'm a huge Trump supporter, still am. Even after he's gone, I will still be a Trump supporter. I think his policies were spot on right down the line. From regulation cuts to immigration to tax cuts to everything that he did. Energy self-sufficiency, right down the line. Everything he did, I was for. It's just maybe his execution or his rhetoric wasn't so hot. And I look past that. But I digress, because this is what this is all about. This is all about the mean Donald Trump. In his last few days in office, just being a brat and being a poor loser and a snot and stomping his feet and holding his breath. The economic relief package that Congress passed would have extended the amount of time that people could collect unemployment benefits until March and revive supplemental unemployment benefits at $300 a week in addition to state benefits, the newspaper reported. I love this, how one news organization will just report on another news organization's stories. But the $600 stimulus checks Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin promised this week will not be sent since the bill has not been signed. Other emergency relief programs, they were part of the package, from rental protections to small business aid, airline assistance, and vaccine distribution money have also been frozen, the Washington Post reported. Congressional leaders have said they will make one last attempt to avert a shutdown on Monday, the newspaper reported. White House officials had the legislation flown to Mar-a-Lago, Trump's resort in Palm Beach, Florida, on Friday. This president spent Friday playing golf, he said, making many phone calls. Here's the funny part. When Trump first came out and said, you know what, I'm not signing it. This is BS. We need $2,000 instead of $600. So Nancy Pelosi, that mental pygmy, she could care less about any one of the American people. I mean, the average American, she is so self-unaware. It's amazing to me. So she calls a vote. I believe it's called unanimous consent, where she just raised the amount from 600 to 2,000, adding another, $1.5 trillion to the bill, and set it before the House and said, okay, unanimous consent, which means if one person says no, it fails. And she knew it was going to fail. Instead of cutting out the pork and then giving it the money to the American people, who, by the way, are borrowing it, whose lives will be ruined by inflation, whose buying power has been eroded. $15 an hour won't be worth $5 to those liberal morons that want to raise the minimum wage. You won't be able to buy $5 worth of goods with it at this rate if it continues. They're stealing money, and on top of that, you have to pay interest. It's just amazing. And they make it look like they're the heroes. Look what we're doing for you. You idiots, you're giving us our own money, but only about 25% of it. The other 75% goes to big corporations, nonprofits, and foreign entities. It's ridiculous. Trump is right. But this moron says, well, I tried. See? I put it before the House, and the Republicans killed it. They're the evil ones. This is so twisted, it's unbelievable. And meanwhile, millions of people are suffering, and it's not Trump's fault. Go through and cut out the pork. $10 million for Pakistani gender studies. You're going to be out of your effing mind. And that's just one example. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of others. It's not nationalism, because they say nationalism is really white supremacy. Blah, 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 blah. No, the fact of the matter is, you're looking out for your own people first. That's what leaders are supposed to do. That's what leaders are supposed to do. I didn't say cut off foreign aid. There's some military aid in there for Israel and other countries that's probably needed, because it just avoids conflicts down the road that cost 10 times as much, and actually saves conflict and world stability. It helps with that. Okay, we can have a discussion about that. That's fine. But $10 million for gender studies or gender programs in Pakistan? Are you effing kidding me? Take $2,000, I don't have a calculator in front of me, and divide it by $10 million and see how many people you could have helped. And that's just one out of hundreds of items. That's what he's pushing for. Yes, Mr. President, you're right. You do look fat. You do tell your wife you look fat in that dress. You probably should have worded it differently, but he's still right nonetheless. And it's just the games that they're playing. It's just amazing to me. Trump reiterated that thought in a tweet more than 12 hours later. Remember, it was China's fault, the president tweeted. It's true. House Republicans have rejected that idea during a rare Christmas Eve session, according to the AP. It's a chess game and we are pawns. Let Len Etris Haynes, a self-employed single mother of 3 in South Bend, Indiana, told the AP. Haynes could lose her $129 weekly jobless benefit unless Trump signs the package into law or gets the changes he is requesting. Yeah, it's all his fault. This is ridiculous. And these guys are so screwed, because when he's gone, who are you going to blame? 6 months maybe? 8 months? Maybe stretch it out to a year? Everything that goes wrong, from earthquakes to rains to floods to anything, will all be Trump's fault. And then it's on you. The people affected by the bill are part of the expansion of the nation's unemployment system that Congress enacted as part of the $2 trillion CARES Act in March, CNN reported. I love all their sources. All left, all left, all left. It's amazing to me. It really is. Yep. They're all to blame. What's that saying? Everybody's guilty, so nobody's to blame. That pretty much covers it. Take the pork out. Take the ridiculousness, like the Pakistani gender $10 million program for gender studies or whatever it's for. Slice it all out. First of all, what are you doing it for? You're not going to buy any votes with it. So, I mean, even if you were as evil as we're put it in there to buy votes from people, you're not even getting that. Because Trump said so, we have to say no. And then we have to blame him. Remember, folks, it's the Democrats, The governors, the vast majority, not all, there are some Republicans, I'm not going to lie, but the vast majority of the economic shutdown in this country was done by Democrat governors and Democrat mayors. There is absolutely no question about it. Remember, 15 days to stop the spread? Well, that was in March, I believe. And now it's a little after Christmas, and here we are. And now they want to lock down some more. These people are out of control. They need to be stopped. Please, everyone, contact your congressperson, contact your senator, and say, yes, Trump's not the most eloquent speaker, and his rhetoric could use a lot of work, but he's right. Take the BS pork out of it and give it to the American people. They're the ones borrowing it. You're giving us money that we're going to have to pay back. So if we're going to do that, at least give it to our people and not somebody else. Take care of ourselves. You're in a plane. The oxygen masks fall down. You put it on yourself first before you help other people. This is no different. Our economy has to survive in order to help the world in the future. Until next time, folks, goodbye and good luck.